Live. Hey, we are live right here and right now. We're going to let traffic build for a minute. Here live with Troy Casey, and I know that Jen Sedini is going to be reposting for us as we continue. Let me make sure that she's.
Where are you on? Are you on Rhythmia page? I want to share it too.
Yeah, it should be on the. Yeah, Rhythmia is live now. It's on the Rhythmia page.
Okay.
So. Awesome. All right. Well, here we are live with Troy Casey. Hey, everybody. I am so excited today to be with my brother, Troy Casey, certified health nut, and author of this amazing new book. Here we go. Ripped at 50. It's going to take its place on the bookshelf behind, ensconced on the bookshelf behind. I want to tell you a little bit about this amazing being that we are on the phone with. Troy is a leading longevity authority and certified health nut, has successfully restored physical, mental, and emotional balance to clients who have failed with all other systems. His unique, holistic approach uses nature-based simplicity anyone can follow. As a Versace model in Milan 30 years ago, Troy studied nutrition, herbs, and internal purification as a way of looking and feeling great in front of the camera. He has scoured the earth for the most powerful health and healing methods, working with indigenous tribes in the Amazon, as a medicine hunter studying the ancient Vipassana meditation technique, Ashtanga yoga, and more recently the world-famous Chek Institute, working closely with Paul Chek. And his book, Ripped at 50, is a journey to self-love, is transforming thousands of lives. It is truly a transformational book. I enjoyed it thoroughly. He continues making content that helps millions of people, and he was hired off his YouTube channel to work with the Discovery Network and continues his work in the media to this day. His vision of clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all of mankind in his lifetime drives his passion, his passionate work for personal and planetary wellness. Troy, I could go on and on. There's so much more to say, but I'd rather talk to you than read, than have people listen to me read. But that's just a little introduction to what you're up to in the world, man, and how good it is to be talking to someone who's up to something in the world.
How good it is to be alive,
yeah.
baby.
Right on, right on. So I have to tell you, I feel like I got to know you at Rhythmia when you were there. We just connected immediately, and then I feel like in reading the book this weekend, feel so much closer to you and knowing you. So I'm super glad to share this with people. The more than just, like you say, more than just a six-pack. There's so much more about what's going on and what you're up to. So I want to start with the end. And at the end of your book, the last chapter is your trip to Rhythmia and reconnecting with Uri. And I would love to ask you to read the last bit of the book, and if you would feel comfortable starting maybe at "It's funny."
Yes.
From page 176, the last paragraph.
Awesome.
Until the end.
So it's funny. The first time Yuri and I got married, it was in Vegas. We found this kooky female pastor at one of those drive-through places. I think she was pretty drunk at the time. Anyways, it was a full moon, so I asked if we could have the ceremony outside. I had just returned from Peru, where I'd been filming ayahuasca ceremonies. I had the tapes in the trunk of my car, so we asked the Vegas pastor to stop and played some footage of a shaman singing an Icaro. So, in some ways, our first wedding had something to do with an ayahuasca ceremony too. But with the second ceremony, Yuri and I were kidney deep in it. Before dawn, a male and female shaman took us outside where they picked up fresh flowers for the ceremony. As the sun came up, they bound our arms together and sang the blessing. Just then, the first golden rays of the day filtered through the forest, and the air danced with life. A chorus of birds and insects lifted their voices in exultation as the shamans elevated our spirits higher with their Icaro. I had crossed the desert and stood now on a higher plane. I had dedicated myself to my wife in a sacred ceremony and stood humbled by the grace the Almighty and ineffable Spirit had bestowed upon me. but the ayahuasca coursed through me. Not just ayahuasca, yahe.
True.
And I prayed I wouldn't ruin the moment by spilling my guts all over the floor. I thought I was going to puke, man. I was really sick. On October 18th, 2019, Yuri and I got married for the second time. And this time, things are going to be different. It's like I told you at the beginning of the book. Be open to miracles. Love wins.
I love it. I love it. It was beautiful. Really beautiful, man.
Thank you for letting me share that, man. That was a blessing.
Oh, well, I'd love to hear a little bit more about, as you shared plant medicine and breath work and how that impacted your life and your wife and your kids and your family.
Yeah, well, ultimately, I started working with plant medicine in 2006 in the Amazon rainforest. I was working with an herbal company. I know your friend Reverend Michael knew my business partner, Amazon John.
Yeah.
He married Olivia Newton-John towards the end of the Amazon Herb Company, and she did a lot of her songs were based on the rainforest. So in 2006, I went down there with Amazon John and I met the shamans, drank some ayahuasca, but I went back on my own investigation, and I went back many times since then. But in 2006, I had three very profound visions. One was an amalgamation of my on-camera career. I was doing stand-up comedy at the time, and I'd been studying natural medicine to heal my own gut, to heal my emotional issues that I was storing them in my intestines. I had constipation, I had indigestion. So my whole quest, I like to say your curse is your gift.
Yes.
So my 31 years of trying to heal my own gut has helped me amass all this information on healing myself, and now I can share that with others. And so when I was in the Amazon that first time, those three visions came to me. Certified Health Nut was born, the amalgamation of my on-camera career, natural medicine studies, and stand-up comedy career. And the idea of Certified Health Nut was born. I laughed out loud. It's been unfolding on social media ever since. I started out on YouTube 13 years ago. You can scroll back and watch all my videos in the Amazon. Then the third vision was the spirit of my daughter came to me. I wasn't married. I wasn't in a relationship. And I came home and I interviewed all the girls that I was interested in or dating. And this is LA, trust me. There was plenty of hot girls that were like, yeah, honey, I'm not interested in getting married right now. So, and my family has been unfolding ever since. I brought my daughter back to the rainforest, back to the ceremony house where she came to me in 2012. I filmed that. I put that up on YouTube as well. And my family's been unfolding. Certified Health Nut's been unfolding. My family's been unfolding. The third vision that I had is that humanity makes it from the precipice of ecological disaster. The company I was working with was called The Solution to Saving the Rainforest by the Cousteau Society. Now, I grew up with Jacques Cousteau and the Cousteau Society and all his documentaries, very profound for me, and that brand has a very powerful weight. And it was, I think it was distributed on PBS through National Geographic. So I took that, project to heart, and I would see the sawdust mountains when you go to the city centers, and I would see the tributaries be full of the logs from the big trees, and I understood how the rainforest worked, and oil exploration cutting the cancer roads through the forest, the lumber companies giving $1 a day to the natives with a chainsaw, and they would burn the bush, grow the cash crops, anything from coffee and chocolate all the way to coca leaves. And so this is kind of the way of the world, and lumber and oil interests are very hard to compete with when you're into natural medicine, and the medical industry controls the insurance, and they control the way
research,
we can heal on this planet.
All of it.
Research, everything. So we had our work cut out for us. So the final vision is that humanity makes it. So we make it. We're going towards heaven on earth, peace on earth. I say heaven on earth is already here. We just haven't realized it.
Yes.
And so The world is abundant, and that is my mission, to ground in peace on earth. My mission is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime.
I love it. There's so much in what you shared that I'm like, you know, I want to just start with humanity makes it, and heaven is here on earth already. And you know, one of the things I see in ceremony, man, is you know, when you're in the vibration of the plant medicine, and you get those fractals, those sacred geometry designs, right? Like I feel very clearly that those are standing light waves of information, energy information, that our body, by the way, is perfectly designed to integrate through our pineal gland and the endocrine system, right? That whole system is designed to take that information. We don't have to intellectually know it.
It's all there, baby.
Right?
It's all there. Whether you get it or not, it's getting you. That's the divinity codes.
Yes.
The sacred geometry.
Yes.
Those are the colors. Look at the shading on that, how that came out.
I love the part in the end of the book where you talk about the cover design and I mean, that sacred geometry, right? That's the fractal pattern. I wanted to also talk to you about that also. But what my you know, when you say heaven is on earth, we just can't see it. Right? It's like that information is always there. The metaphysical principle is that we must lift our minds above confusion, you know, to see the, to realize that truth. There's an old philosophical chestnut. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does it make a noise? Well, the metaphysician would say no, because sound requires a receiver to be realized. In the same way, heaven is right at hand. We must, as you said, open ourselves up to receive it.
Yes.
And we're the channel for that, right? And so one of the other things you talked about was you said something like the cancer roads through the jungle and through the rainforest, and I'd love for you to speak a little bit about fractal designs and the similarity between nature and our body, the physical systems in nature and the physical systems in our body. Do you have any thoughts on that, or am I off course here?
Well, yeah, we are in symbiotic relationship with nature. We are nature. The premise of the book is not about my physique and, oh, I'm ripped and you can be too, and let me sell you some fancy diet paradigm. No. We are in symbiotic relationship with nature. We are nature. We're in symbiotic relationship with each other.
Yes.
We're in symbiotic relationship with microbes, pathogens, parasites, fungus, viruses since day one. People really need to understand and not be fearful of viruses, but really understand the history and biology of life on Earth.
Yeah.
That warrants investigation, especially in a day and age when they're utilizing fear of viruses against you. When you have a lot of fear, it lowers your immune system. When you stay up in the head, thinking is catabolic. It literally will break the body down, break the immune system down, open it up for infection. Mother Nature cleanses anything that's not towing its weight on this planet. So death is a part of life, guys, and we're all cycling everything. Life eats life at all times. This is life on Earth.
Yes. So share with us a little bit more about that perspective and the current situation with COVID in terms of the healthy immune system and our response to it versus a healthier response to it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's 9 pillars in my book, 9 pillars of health, and so they're immutable laws. In physics, they call them first principles. This have a foundation to build. You're going to build. So whether you're healthy or sick, whether you're a man, woman, or child, this book is for you. Whether you're old or young, because everyone needs hydration.
Yes. Everyone
needs sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we live in a culture of hustle and grind, and I'll sleep when I'm in the grave. Yeah, that's going to elevate your cortisol and going to break your body down, and you might not achieve the dreams that you want to if you're breaking your body down faster than you can achieve your dreams. So, hydration, sleep, movement as medicine, food as medicine, as Hippocrates, the father of modern day medicine, said, "Let thy food be thy medicine."
Mm-hmm.
Breathing mechanics, optimal cellular respiration. People can work on their breath work, their nutrition, lowering their stress levels better than they can trying to outrun their bad diet in the gym or trying to solve all their problems in the gym. So if you just apply these little principles on a daily basis, for example, sleep, there's been a lot of research at UCLA and other places, but lots of documented empirical evidence that sleep is optimized with the celestial realm. Yeah. Your cortisol rises with the sun and the blue light, and the melatonin rises with the moon. And the more you can harmonize towards that, the more you can restore the body. Melatonin's the hormone that helps the body rebuild itself and restore it, rejuvenate the body. And if you've got elevated cortisol, you are not going to have melatonin at night. And guess what? When the stress hormones are elevated, the sex hormones don't come out and play. So all the men that want that testosterone in their older age, get to bed by 10. Turn off your electronics. Make sure there's not as much electromagnetic smog and pollution around you. Optimize your water, optimize your food, optimize your breathing mechanics, and reprogram your thinking apparatus with either prayer technology from the Agape, where you got a lot of your information, or you work with my wife who does hypnosis, or you do meditation, or you drink the plant medicines that just defrag everything, like a system defrag, and then boom, clear the slate, and then you can see things clearly. Oh, and then start again, right? Because we've all been programmed by the industrial age school system and the 40,000 hours of television programming.
Yes, brother. I have to tell you, I keep talking. I want you to continue talking about this symbiotic relationship with ourselves and nature. I have to run and plug in my computer really quickly. 2 seconds. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So again, guys, the essence of the book is the natural law of correspondence. There's 7 immutable laws, Hermetic code. As above, so below is the natural law of correspondence. How do we expect the world to be healthy if we're not healthy ourselves? The ball represents balance. All the ancient sages have said, know thyself, knowledge of self. There's nothing new underneath the sun. Nope. I'm not promoting some kind of weird diet and fitness paradigm. No, this is simple basics. I'm not a gym rat. I do Qigong. Walking's my dominant exercise. I have a super clean diet. I hydrate. I get to bed on time. I love my family. I forgive all the stuff that people have harmed me instead of carrying that cross on me, weighing me down. Totally. I'm 54, man. I can't have any kind of impedance in my electrical field. So I got to let that go and just forgive, even if just God help me.
Yes.
Even if I can't forgive, I've learned to ask, something that's greater than me to facilitate that. And lo and behold, I think I've failed my way to success. I'm not done yet, but I've just failed my way to success, and I don't know what I'm doing like anybody else.
First of all, someone said to me a long time ago, the only true failure is not continuing to try. Is quitting. The only true failure is quitting, right? Every successful person on the planet has failed a bunch of times, and whether it's Qigong or any sort of movement practice, I'm still trying to learn how to do a handstand on my own, right? Like that's still like hard, right? And I get freaked out. But just that, it's been months that I've been working on that, right? Like, but you just continue to try. You continue to work at your capacity, and just that is forging new neural pathways, impacting the way I relate to people, becoming less reactive, noticing my fear, all of those aspects, how movement applies to life. But I want to ask you about the Hermetic principles that you mentioned, the law of correspondence. I'm a big student of the Kabbalion, and I'd love to know your relationship to that, how that came into your life, and could you share a little bit more about how that impacts you?
Yeah, I saw a great lecture by Mark Passio, and he broke it down for 8 hours. It's on YouTube, and he broke it down, and I've studied it over the years. The law, there's 7 of them. Let's see how many I can remember. The law of gender, the law of polarity, the law of cause and effect, the law of correspondence.
I'm looking right now. I'm trying to pull up my Kindle version of the book.
The law of polarity. Both of us have masculine and feminine attributes. All of us have masculine and feminine attributes inside of us, and as a macro and as a micro, and so those are in us. So the law of cause and effect. You do something, it's going to have an effect. The law of correspondence. I like to say, mind is an embodied process. So basically, the human being is all mind. If you look at nerve endings coming out to the end, so as above, so below. Flexible mind, flexible body. Stable mind, stable body. Strong body, strong mind. So it goes back and forth. And I think these principles, I think it will behoove everyone to really understand the basic fundamental principles that govern life on Earth.
These, for me, one of the most impactful principles, and I'm whatever having trouble pulling up my copy, but the law of opposites, right? That in a law of duality, I believe it's called, right? That we live in this dimension of duality. But where does hot become cold? If you have the duality of hot and cold, where does hot become cold? Where does night become day? That everything is this sort of gradient spectrum, right? And that the dualities are actually have a fundamental wholeness underneath them. And that's really one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because you had shared, you were talking in one of the videos I was watching, you were talking about harmonizing and respect, moving beyond the dichotomy and division, right? And this is such a polarized political environment right now. I'd love to move into, a little bit of the political and utilizing these principles. And how do you then apply these principles to political communication when you're talking to people? Or what would your view be about applying that principle to our overall political division that we're having at this time?
That's a very good question. Let me see if I can philosophically filibuster on this one. Okay, so I do believe the final frontier for humanity is mind over matter. And that is actually what's happening here on Earth anyhow. Anything you see in the world that is not nature was manifested in the mind of man first.
Yes, sir.
Before we have it in the hand.
Consciousness precedes form.
Yes. Napoleon Hill studied the industrial magnates of the early 20th century, and he surmised that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Then you've got, before the industrial age school system, all of the great learned people of the day, from Descartes and Da Vinci and Plato, Newton, not as far back to Plato, but all the learned people of the day through the Renaissance, they studied Neoplatonic philosophy. What is Neoplatonic philosophy? Alchemy. What are the rules of alchemy? Focus creates reality is the first rule. The formula for alchemy is love, truth, and wisdom. It's a triangle. So you have to be honest with yourself, looking in the mirror, and exactly where you're at today. Not bad or good, it's just where you're at. Never let go of that, because people are dishonest with themselves. You keep that focused, and then what do you love? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? What is your heart's desire? And those two things, where you're at today and where you want to be, that creates tension. By law, tension must be resolved. And that goes into the alchemy, or the lead into the gold. And so this is the formula. This everything has been dreamed consciously or unconsciously. And I would postulate that some of the dark arts are being performed right now through corporate and media interests to sell whatever, power, control, even profit in business, because we're in a business competition right now. And so I say that has all been utilized at one level or another with alchemy. So let's just take the Wright brothers wanting to fly like an eagle, right? They had an idea. Man wasn't flying, and they stuck to their guns. What happens, normally people let go of their dream, or they're not honest with themselves and they let go of the truth, right? And so you have to create that tension. Before the Wright brothers flew, they took out an ad because there was another team flying and they crashed, and they said, "Man will never fly." But if you look into the cutting edge of science today, is quantum mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And what does quantum mechanics talk about? All possibilities, baby. So if that's the case, and that's how you create iPhones when you're not an engineer, you're an idea man, right? Steve Jobs created, he wanted a handheld computer in everyone's hand, and now it's a reality. So if you're the idea man, whatever you can hold in your hand, eventually, whatever you can hold in your hand came from the mind first and foremost. So that's my methodology for transforming the world, because I also realize that another axiom: we all want peace at the heart level, at the core level, at the fundamental level, at the soul level. We all want peace. So if that's the case, I'm calling forth peace on earth. Oh, Troy Casey's Pollyanna, you can't achieve that. What is that? Communism, socialism, what is that nonsense? You can't solve the world's problems with the same level of mind that created them, Einstein said. So we have to go far outside of the box. So I'm calling forth mind over matter. Can't be done. Scientists said you can't be done. Blah, 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 blah. Never get off oil. It's going to take 50 years. We'll always have fiat currency, debt slave notes. Oh, blah, blah, blah. That's because people are inside of it. They can't think outside of the box. So I'm calling forth free energy, gift economy, permaculture, and self-care education. Those are my 4 solutions. I'm running for president of planet Earth in 2020, and that's my platform. So clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind. So that's me using my alchemy. That's me being the Wright brothers. That's me being Steve Jobs. And creating that which I wish to see in the world.
You know, the other aspect of alchemy, the key with alchemy, is that you must have a little bit of gold to transform that lead. Reverend Michael was talking about this at Agape yesterday, right? And the alchemical, and this is the metaphysical aspect for us as well. That you know, if I didn't see some aspect, if you couldn't see some possibility of peace and harmony on earth, if you couldn't see the possibility of clean air, clean water, and a fair and just global society for all, if you couldn't see that possibility, then you have to have a little bit of that vibration in order to transform the heavy, leaden thinking of our culture into the golden light of transformation, right? You need that little bit. So you know, I think that's what you're talking about in the tension. Right, you're saying that there's this vision and where we're at today, and the tension between the vision and where we're at today is the alchemical translation. But you have to be able to see the vision. You have to be able to have a little bit of that vibratory frequency of a world that works for the best and highest individual and collective good before it can ever emerge.
And I agree. And this is what I've been postulating on Facebook while everybody's, playing Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Bill Gates and vaccines and COVID. Man, I don't want to wear a mask, and you should fucking wear a mask. Excuse my French. And so it's just going. It's just going nuts.
Right.
And so I believe and I postulate that human beings do have altruism. Even the 6% of psychopaths that are in the human population, I do believe that altruism exists, and
really?
That's the seed of gold.
Tell me more about that. Where is that altruism? And I want to hear that. That's a beautiful thought. In the 6% of psychopaths.
Well, I've worked with a lot of healers over the years, and worked to iron out my energy field, right? And find that peace. And then the closer I get to it, the more I want. I taste that peace. I taste that harmony. The more I want. And if I have the seeds of altruism, like my whole life, like people take pot shots on me on the internet. Oh, you're just all about making money and this, that, and the other thing. Well, look, we live in a money structure right now. If I don't do good, I can't serve anybody. And I struggled pushing up boulders and working for free on social media for 10 plus years. So the fact of the matter is for me, I want peace for everybody else in the world. Here's the thing. Let me just present it this way. I started my business, my company out of the Amazon in 2006. 62% of the American people are obese or overweight. 33% diabetes. 1 in 17 has autism right now. The obesity rate went up to 70%. That's almost 10%, which is exponential growth in 10 years. 70% is close to 100%. So if we're looking at 100% population on the planet being sick, and I'm part of that 100%, I don't want that to happen. I have to change the environment, not only for myself to be healthy and have organic food and clean water moving forward in the future, but how about my genetic expression, my children, that I take responsibility for bringing them on. I need to change the world for myself because I am in symbiotic relationship with the environment. I am the environment. Therefore, it is my responsibility. There is no other way. I have to look out at the world and not complain and whine, and which I'm very good at, by the way. Reverend Michael has helped me correct that over the years. But then I have to go, okay, all right, this homeless situation, that's not someone else's problem. This is my problem, and I get to solve it here and now. And Ripped at 50, A Journey to Self-Love, is my solution. The holistic health principles that apply to all human beings, when we all can be healthy-minded, self-care. I teach my children to be their own doctors. I tell my wife, keep the children away from the state, keep them away from doctors, and then when we're out camping and they get nicks and cuts and bug bites and all, you got the medicine chest. We got herbs galore. Go fix yourself. I've done it for them for the years, for the longest time. And now they're becoming their own doctor. They look in the mirror. They know how to take care of themselves. And so I think if we all knew how to take care of our own real estate and we just kept our side of the street clean, I think everybody else just did that, the world would be a better place.
You know, amen. And this really ties in so much of what you talked about. First of all, you know, consciousness precedes form. Anything that is not natural, that is man-made, first was an idea and then expressed into form as manifestation. The second piece is our symbiotic relationship, and that with nature, with our environment, and this is where Rhythmia comes in. This is where Ripped at 50 comes in. Is that the transformation and healing of the planet and the healing of our bodies isn't going to take place as a technological revolution. It's going to take place as a revolution in consciousness. And a book like Ripped at 50 and a place like Rhythmia are places where people can come and begin to transform within, as within, so without, as above, so below. Right, transform within, and that is the shift. That right. So we're just all doing our part, man, little by little.
It's an inside job.
Amen.
That's it. And you know, I want to speak so many praises on Rhythmia because again, I've been working with plant medicine since 2006 in the Amazon. You know, with the real Indian shamans and the whole nine, and what they set up there for all the 5-star creature comforts. You know, some people. They don't really have an experience with this, but to come there and have coconut water on tap, organic food, you know, no mold in your housing, which is a big deal for someone who's been injured, mold injured myself.
Right.
Clean. You got colonics. You got doctors. You got nurses. You got you know 20
meditation
shamans or shaman helpers to you know. I mean, there's just the facility is set up to go deeper, faster, and you bookend it with breath work, which is another enlightenment tool that, you know, I've probably had more profound experiences with just my own breath than the plant medicine. So it's a very powerful tool.
Yes.
What you guys set up, you know, you guys are set up because what's going to happen is eventually people are going to, and they're going to be gobsmacked, and they're going to need to go to the hospital. And the hospital, as far as I'm concerned, is Rhythmia. That's a real hospital. You drink your medicine and you really heal. You don't mask the symptoms.
That's right.
You go right to the root of the issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. And Anything else that you want to speak on, brother? Anything else that's on your heart that you'd like to bring up? I could keep talking to you for a long time, but I know you've got a lot going on.
For me, and this is the Rhythmia channel, and I just really give it up to Jerry and Brandy and yourself and Reverend Michael for stepping up to the plate and putting infrastructure in there. And what you guys did is amazing, and this is the future, guys. I'm telling you, once we wake up, it's going to be a revolving door. This is the medicine that people need. Ayahuasca is very handy for awakening people. My mentor, the great gringo shaman Scott Peterson, told me, when things go haywire in the world, as they are today, man goes back to the origins. And ayahuasca, plant medicine, is the origin. Our history with plants, utilizing them for medicines, food, shelter, clothing, it's extensive. Our relationship with plants, they were the beings here before us.
Yes.
So the level of healing, if people are dealing with pain in their life, if they've got a friend or family member suicidal, this medicine is the best, for humanity. It's fundamental. The spirit and power of these plant medicines, and especially what you guys are doing down at Rhythmia. And I also wanted to say, John, that I pulled up the natural laws of the universe, if you want me to go over those.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So we've got the law of vibration. So Tesla said, if you truly want to understand the world you live in, think in energy, frequency, and vibration. Mm-hmm. And I put some of that stuff in the back of my book with the codes that are on the cover. So the law of vibration, everything's vibrating. My clarion call to everyone out there when people are worrying, and Troy, what about the race riots, and what do we do, and do we get the vaccine, and should we hide in the house, whatever. Just remember, it's all about raising your vibration as high as you can possibly get it. You could sit in your house, literally, and meditate until you realize that you're God. So, you could start there and do that, or any of the tools that I mentioned in the book, or they have down at Rhythmia, for sure. So the law of vibration states that everything vibrates and nothing rests. I like the Tony Robbins lecture where he talks about you're either growing or you're dying.
Yeah.
So what are you doing today?
Plato says the soul is either animated towards the good or away from the good. Right? Same ancient wisdom, brother. Ancient wisdom. Love it. Please go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the next one, the law of relativity. The law of relativity states that nothing is what it is until you relate it to something, which is good. And another thing that I like to say is, with all these theories, because I was a vegan, it was promoted to me as the solution for everything, and I got sick as a vegan. I've heard all these theories. Yoga is the best, and Qigong, you got to do it this specific way, and you can only drink this water, and you need to eat keto or paleo. I've heard it all. Christianity is the way. You have to receive Jesus Christ in your. I heard it all, guys. And the bottom line is the highest level of philosophical thought is I am.
Yes.
Everything else, from Plato to Descartes, they've all agreed on this. I am, here now, is the only thing you can really say in truth. Everything else is story, conjecture, opinion, theory, mask, no mask. My science is better than your science. Research bias, whatever it is, it's all story. If it doesn't live in a human being, it has no ballast in reality.
I am healthy. My immune system is strong, right? We have to be anchoring in those truths rather than the conjecture and story of fear, doubt, worry, lack, and limitation.
Yes.
Hit it, brother. Go on. Hit me with the next one.
The law of polarity, which I think is also the law of gender, the law of rhythm, the law of gestation, and the law of transmutation. And so the law of rhythm, the law of, everybody's got their own take on it. And so the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of cause and effect, the law of gender. Again, the law of mentalism. This is I like the Hermetic principle better than the natural laws. The law of mentalism. All is mind.
Yep.
Right? Or, as I say, mind is an embodied process.
I am just in this. those ancient principles to me have recently become even more profound, right? And what I love about these ancient principles is they're concise. It's like poetry, right? You read a poem, and it's so tightly wound, right? You got to unpack it, right? So there's a simple truth, the law of correspondence, boom, simply stated. But that's something that year after year, decade after decade of our lives, those simple truths become more and more profound. So now at 50, I'm at a point where I've spent some time with those over my life, and I'm at a new level of appreciation for the depth of these Hermetic principles and their universal truths around the way in which we can interact with life, and the way that we can work with our consciousness to that is all in consciousness, and it fits so well with the new quantum field. So all of this unfolding, but ultimately to say that this shift happens in consciousness. Your book, Ripped at 50, is a shift in consciousness. It was a great read. I know I saw in the comments, Troy, I don't know if you could see them, but people are saying, I got the book. They were asking about what's your YouTube channel, and people are tagging, pinning that up there in the book. So people are getting the book from the call. And it was a tremendous read. It is a guide to shifting consciousness, and a great story. Your life story is freaking incredible, man. Incredible life story. And when Costa Rica opens back up, Rhythmia will be open, and another clearinghouse for light workers. So I'm just so grateful to have this time with you, brother. It was an amazing conversation, and great to run into you here in town before you leave. I wish you all the best in your new adventure, and so much success with the book. Thank you, man.
Yeah, awesome. And I just want to let you and Jerry know that I didn't forget about the staff. I just wasn't reminded. Please, I will send you a digital copy, and make sure all the staff that I drank with and was down there and that helped me with the breath work. I had an enlightened experience on the breath work on the first night. You know that, right?
Tell us about that experience. Give us a little.
I had a complete Kundalini awakening. So I started doing breath work. You know, I did my first rebirthing session maybe 20 years ago. But when I went through my divorce, and it's in the book as well, I was waking up anxiety at 4 o'clock in the morning, sleeping on my own couch, ready to lose my family. Business wasn't doing that great, and I had to make lunch for the kid. I had to get my mind straight, so I just started doing 90 rounds of breath in the morning, and that was able to help clear my head. And I did some holotropic with some friends, maybe a few times. So I've had enough experience in breath work, and I had maybe 2+ years of steady breath work behind me before I came down to Rhythmia. I was really looking forward to the plant medicine and the herbal treatments down there. And, you know, breath work, especially holotropic, can be a little painful. You start breathing, and then 45 minutes in, or 20 minutes into it, 30 minutes into it, you're like, this is tough,
right?
And I don't want to do this, and I've got this excuse, and maybe I can just run away. And you're like, ugh. Man, I cycled through that within 15 minutes. My whole body went up. I went into full lotus, and I was rocking on my knees. I wanted to fly away, and I just kept breathing. and the ladies came over there, and they're like, we think you should lay down. I said, that's a great idea, but I'm having a full-blown Kundalini. This is my most powerful yoga experience my whole life. I've been practicing for 25 years. I don't know if you want to stop this. I was like, I'm here to comply, but holy shit, man, I'm ready to fly away. And so that was my, and that shows you the energetic template of the healing medicine, the template, the construct that Jerry has set up down there. I just walked through the doors, man. I was ready to go. I was ready to pop. And sure enough, that's what happened. And then 4 nights of plant medicine. And I drank a lot of medicine in the Amazon, let me tell you. And it's all Yahe down there. But, man, the shamans that you had down there, the Leo, and, you know, what Taita has set up down there, what Reverend Michael has done down there. It was so comprehensive. You know, you guys got a cold pool down there. You got the mud masks. You got the sauna. It was awesome. And you know what? I went out to go, let's go see Costa Rica. I went out and I ran back. I was like, no, I'm happy here.
I just saw you walking around in a robe all week. You were like in your spa robe. Like, hey. All right, brother. So good to talk to you, man. Such a great conversation. Thank you for your time and for joining us today. And we'll definitely see you before you head out.
Okay, God bless everyone.
God bless
Thank you guys at Rhythmia and all the work you do, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Troy. Blessings to you and great success. All right.
Okay.
Ciao.
Awesome. God bless.
Bye.